calcium levels in your blood or too much calcium in your blood. Now, let's try to understand what is really this topic. Now, calcium is a mineral that is important in the regulation and process of many body functions, including bone formation. And normally, when people hear about calcium, what crosses their mind is about bones. But just remind you here, the function of calcium is not only bones, and even you see, in our bones, it's made up of 12 key minerals, including the calcium, and 64 trace minerals. So calcium is important in the bone formation, but it's not the only minerals that is in the bone. But apart from that, calcium is involved in the electrical system that runs the nerves and muscles of our body. So it's so important. Also, it's involved in blood clotting process. That is calcium. And blood clotting is very important in the body. So it means that if you have an injury, if you don't have the right amount of calcium, you may bleed to death. So calcium plays an important role in the natural clotting of the blood to seal off any injuries in the body. And as I was saying, it is very, very important to emphasize that calcium is the chemical electricity in our body to help the body coordinate. It's through the nervous system that if you want to blink your eyes, raise your hand, your body will be able to do that through the brain, right? So if you don't have the right range or the right amount of calcium in your blood, then that is going to disrupt all these functions. As we know, the electricity company controls or regulates through the system how much electrical energy should flow through our houses for the right, or the factories for the right device, for the devices to work well. Calcium, on the flip side, it's also something that is also regulated tightly in the body. Calcium levels are tightly regulated primarily by parathyroid hormones. That is the PTH. We call it parathyroid hormones, which is produced by the parathyroid glands. Parathyroid glands are glands around the thyroid. The thyroid gland is just it's like a butterfly shape that's at the base of the neck. And this thyroid gland is so important, as we all know. And thyroid gland produces calcitonin. Calcitonin is also very important in regulating the amount of calcium in your blood, together with vitamin D and then this parathyroid hormone. But we have this parathyroid gland just around these or at the back of this thyroid gland. So sometimes people go to the hospital and they tell them their thyroid is overactive or underactive. That is hyperthyroidism or hypothyroidism. So you see these small glands at the base of our neck is so important. They are very important for one function is to regulate the amount of calcium in the blood. Together, they do that in relation with the bone, the kidneys, and our digestive system. If we look at it critically, how it really works, it may interest you to know that normally it isn't enough for you to just have, you see, put it this way, how it works. When you have low calcium, what happens is that this thyroid will trigger the production of this hormone, and your bone to release, calcium into your blood. And then your digestive tract, that's the intestines, will absorb more calcium. And your kidneys will excrete less calcium and then activate more vitamin D, which plays a very important role in calcium absorption. So this is it's kind of the system, how actually it works in the body. But let's put it aside. How would you then know that you have a high calcium in your blood? That is the symptoms and signs of hypercalcemia. Now, at the beginning, if you have too much calcium in your blood, you may not notice it. It may not even show any symptoms until it's severe. And when it's severe, the first thing that the individual may notice is the constant headaches and fatigue. That is true. This is general. But if you're not careful, there are other health conditions that could mimic this a sign. That is headache, constant headache, and fatigue. But then when we come to the kidneys, how it affects it, because the kidneys can excrete out this excess calcium, then it affects it. It affects the kidney functions. So you will see that you will feel thirsty. We call that excessive thirst, and then excessive urination day and night. And that individual may also feel pain between your back, the upper abdomen on one side, due to kidney stones that could form in the kidneys, because the kidneys can't effectively eliminate calcium in your blood. So too much calcium can then affect the kidneys. And you may have these signs that are excessive thirst, excessive urination. It can be involved here. Now, when we move on, how does too much calcium affect the abdomen? You see, you may have unnecessary severe pain in the abdomen. Why? Because calcium is very important for how best your nerves will work. And the nerves control the intestines, the stomach, everything. So if these nerves are not working well, that individual may have abdominal pain, and together with nausea and decreased appetite and constipation and vomiting. Please, we shouldn't just take one symptom. We should put the symptoms together. Now, how does too much calcium also affect the heart? And that it will cause palpitation, to cause heart arrhythmias. How does also it affect the muscles? The symptoms are the following. There will be muscle twitching. The muscle will twitch, and there will be cramp, especially in the calf. And then you may feel weakness in the leg. That is quite typical when there's too much calcium in the blood. So how does it affect also the skeletal system, the bones? Normally, the individual may feel, have a pain, pain in the bone. And when it goes on and on, there will be that condition called osteoporosis. Osteoporosis is simply the thinning of the bones. It means that that individual is losing minerals. And especially if you're a woman too, and that you have too much calcium too, that will be even double the problem. That normally leads to fractures, bone fractures, which leads to mobility problems. When we move on with the bone, the skeletal problem, loss of minerals can lead to curving of the spine, So there is a loss of height. So with age, that's why with age, some individuals may lose height. They become a bit shorter than usual because of that. That is too much calcium in the blood. Too much calcium can also affect the nervous system. So we call that the neurological symptoms. Here are some of the symptoms of that is the nerves. Normally, the person may experience depression, and then memory loss or forgetfulness. You may start to forget things very easily. That person can easily be, can get angry. That also, we call that irritability. You can be irritated by just little thing. It's also there. And if it goes on, it becomes severe, it can even cause confusion and coma. The person can be confused, and it can lead to coma. Now, what causes hypercalcemia? The causes of hypercalcemia. What leads to too much calcium in the blood? Before then, let me put this number on the platform. So if maybe you want to contact me, you have too much calcium, or you have any underlying problem that may cause hypercalcemia or too much calcium, you can talk to me about it. Well, the number calling outside the UK is +44 738 464 7300. Inside the UK is 0738 464 7300. Our second number is +44 745 988 9152. Calling within the UK is 0745 988 9152. Well, so don't actually, sit there for diseases to take over your life. No. Now, let's come to now what causes hypercalcemia, the causes of hypercalcemia or too much calcium in the blood. You see, hypercalcemia can be caused by more than 25 separate diseases in the body. Several medications or even dehydration can lead to that. But primary hypothyroidism, that is the thyroid, that is what I call the parathyroid glands around the thyroid, and various kinds of cancers account for the greatest percentage of all patients with hypercalcemia. Once again, the parathyroid gland, these are glands around your thyroid. The thyroid gland is just like the butterfly shape at the base of your neck, and then just behind that thyroid we have the 4 small glands. We call them the parathyroid glands, and if they are not working well, then together with some cancers, blood cancers, account for the huge percentage of hypercalcemia. You see, so it means that if you have too much calcium in the blood, it's something that you shouldn't look down upon. It's something that you should really take charge and do something. You should take the right step to to do what you have to do. Now, let's actually move on to this. We know that the thyroid gland is so important. I don't want to go into the theory, the details. Normally, the parathyroid glands work with the kidneys, our skeletal system, and the intestine to carefully regulate the levels of blood calcium. But sometimes a parathyroid gland becomes overactive, resulting in excess parathyroid hormone being released, and an elevated blood calcium levels can then, of course, it will lead to produce elevated blood calcium. So common medications prescribed for blood pressure, so listen to those people taking blood pressure medication. Blood pressure medication is one of the contributors of hypercalcemia. And then intake of too much vitamin D and then vitamin A. These can lead to hypercalcemia or too much calcium in the blood. Now, another cause is lung cancer or breast cancer or certain cancers of the blood can cause hypercalcemia, and that it can be very severe in this case. There are other common causes of hypercalcemia too, which includes lung diseases like sarcoidosis. Sarcoidosis is an immune system problem or disorder. And this sarcoidosis can affect your lungs, your kidney, your heart. And so sarcoidosis is one of the issues here. It can also lead to too much calcium in the blood. TB or tuberculosis can also be that. Kidney failure can also contribute to too much calcium in the blood. So you see, if someone has too much calcium in the blood, it means that the kidneys are not working well. That is another simple thing, because normally when you go for blood test, you wouldn't see that the kidneys are not working well. They wouldn't tell you anything about your kidneys. But these are some of the things that you can figure out or find out that if your kidneys are really functioning well. If you have too much calcium in the blood, then you have to know that it might happen that your kidneys are not cleansing your blood well. So that's why you have too much calcium in your blood. Now, those that are bedridden, if you are bedridden, that is, you can't move, it can also lead to that problem. There is also a condition called multiple myeloma. Myeloma is simply a kind of blood cancer that can cause the body to produce too much of this what we call abnormal plasma cell, that is white blood cells, and through that there could be also high calcium in the blood. When we actually also move on, we also see other causes here. We have a factor which is not too important. That is the hereditary factor. That maybe someone in your family has this problem. It is not. It's 3% of the contribution, and even that, it all depends on you, your lifestyle. If you have been taking care of yourself, and even if you have some inherited factor, it will never be triggered. It will never be activated to or trigger it at all. But most often, it's about our lifestyle. That is the main problem here. Now, let's now come to the complications. What are the complications of hypercalcemia or too much calcium in the blood? The first complication is osteoporosis. Osteoporosis just simply means bone thinning. It's a bone thinning disease which leads to bone fractures. And then it also affects the spinal column curvature. So the spinal column can curve because there's a loss of minerals. And then it can lead to loss of height. But more importantly, it's about the thinning of the bones, which then leads to fractures. That's why so many people in the world, especially among women, when they enter this menopause period, because the estrogen, the women hormone comes down, they also lose minerals. If that individual also has this hypercalcemia, then it becomes double the problem. And so that individual may lose even more minerals. And then there will be this osteoporosis, the thinning of the bones. Another complication is the kidney stones. If your urine contains too much calcium, crystals might form in your kidneys. And over time, the crystals can combine to form kidney stones. And then passing a stone can be extremely painful. And sometimes it can lead to blood in the urine, So that is another factor here, or another complication here. Kidney failure. Under this condition, your kidneys cannot cleanse the body or cleanse your blood well and eliminate fluid. That is the kidney failure. So it means too much calcium can lead to malfunction of your kidneys, and that can be a problem. So you see, those individuals that are taking, let's say, blood pressure medication, there's diuretics, you are on it, and that medication is damaging the kidneys gradually. It's also leading or contributing to hypercalcemia. And hypercalcemia is also causing the kidneys finally to fail. The medicine you're also taking can also lead to failure of your kidneys. Beloveds, kidneys are organs that even when is 80% damaged, they will be working beautifully, unless their function remains about 10% or 5%. Then it's seen in the blood, and then they tell the person, this is what you have, and then that person may go on dialysis. Another complication of hypercalcemia is the nervous system problems. And as I say, nervous system problems, it means the electrical activity in the body, the nervous system can be affected. That can lead to confusion. The person cannot focus. The person cannot concentrate. It can lead to brain disorders like dementia and forgetfulness. And in extreme situation, it can lead to coma. Now, how does it also affect the heart? It can lead to heart disorders or heart diseases like this abnormal heart rhythms, that is arrhythmia. And if an individual has had a heart arrhythmia, it means that the electrical impulses that regulate your heartbeat is causing your heart to beat irregularly. So it's just very simple. Hypercalcemia affects the electrical impulses in your heart, which leads to arrhythmia of the heart. And when your heart is not beating well, it means the amount of blood flowing in you to get to your brain, to get to other organs will be reduced. That we call the reduced circulation. It means weak circulation. And that can be quite a problem. That's why that individual may feel dizzy, may get tired easily, may experience numbness, tingling. That individual can have also problems with other organs later in life. So today, you see, we have been empowered through knowledge on hypercalcemia. We have realized that calcium is very, very important mineral. It's not only because of the bone. It's not the function of only to make the bone strong. But even we have realized that calcium is not the only mineral that makes up the bone. There are 12 key minerals and 64 trace minerals. But put that aside. Calcium is very important for the clotting, natural clotting of your blood to seal off any injury in the body. It's very important. And calcium is the chemical electricity in the body. So you see, calcium is so important. But we also realize that certain things we do, certain everyday conditions like taking blood pressure medication, this diuretics, too much vitamin D, too much vitamin A can lead to this problem. We all realize that if your parathyroid glands are not working or they are overworking, it can lead to this problem. We realize that if the kidneys are not functioning well, it can also lead to this problem. And then more seriously, it can be underlying cancer problem. It could be the lung cancer or breast cancer, or it could be some other form of cancer hidden in the body can contribute to too much calcium in the blood. We've seen that too much calcium can lead to different types of symptoms affecting your abdominal pain, because it can cause indigestion. It can cause problem with your digestive system. It can cause problem with your heart. It can cause problem with your muscles. It can cause problem to your bones. We've realized all this, even to the extent that it can cause problem to your brain, that the brain disorders like dementia. We've learned a lot. Please, do not miss this program on Thursdays and Sundays. And please, it's really important to visit us on Facebook and YouTube. Go to YouTube, please. Put in Dr. James Natural Link. And please subscribe and share. There's so many people that don't know this wonderful program is taking place. So that if you really share, you go there and share, there will be a real blessings on your life. Because God doesn't want us to perish. As the Bible says, my people perish because of lack of knowledge. Please, let's share this wonderful news. And God will richly, richly bless you. Thank you very much. I appreciate your support. I appreciate that you tune in to get yourself empowered through knowledge. God richly, richly, richly bless you today. And then I will see you, God willing, on Thursday for a fresh topic. God richly bless you. I will see you soon. Goodbye for now.